I want to talk about, of all things, e-scooters. So part of our conversations around gentle easing of restrictions and making it easier for people to get around while being physically distanced have been around e-scooters. Alberta Health Services has now given approval to allow these e-scooters to come back. They will come back for the first month on a trial basis with 150 scooters per company, which is certainly less than you would have seen last summer. But the operators too are going to try some new enhanced safety guidelines, which they're going to test out with that smaller fleet. Couple of things you need to know about e-scooters. We're going to have slow speed zones this year in Mission, Kensington, and Inglewood. You can't go more than 15 kilometers an hour in those places. The fines have gone up. So one of the things that we learned last year is that law-abiding scooter operators wanted us to actually go after the scofflaws. So $75 to $400 now, $75 if you're doubling. Remember, only one person can be on the device at a time. $75 using it where prohibited, $150 for interfering with sidewalk users, $400 for reckless driving, $400 for colliding with a pedestrian. Now, one of the concerns that we have heard on these scooters is when people leave them all over the place, when they block the sidewalk. It's not a nice thing to do. It makes it hard for people with disabilities, for seniors, for others to use the sidewalk. So you will have the opportunity now, this is new, to use share and go zones. Those little curbside parkings that we used to use for the small car to go smart cars will now be available in some cases for scooters, and you will see those painted in the weeks ahead. That gives a little more certainty to people who are looking for a scooter. Now, if you can't find one of those zones, you can still leave your scooter in other places. You don't have to go to one of those zones. But I'm telling you now, the front part of the sidewalk, what we call the furniture zone, where you see trees, where you leave your green, blue, black carts, or where there are bike racks, not on the bike rack, obviously. These are the sort of places where you want to leave this. Now, I have to tell you this. These are shared devices. They are high touch zones. Someone will have touched that before you. They are not sanitized between users. So you are taking a risk, and you need to mitigate that risk. You have to use hand sanitizer on your hands, give the handlebars and other touch areas a quick wipe down before and after use. Really, really, really try hard not to touch your face when you're out on the scooter. Don't wipe your brow when you're stopped at a light. Make sure you keep that 2-meter distance between all other road users, including pedestrians and other riders. And again, no doubling. These are single-use scooters. You will get a ticket if you're seen doubling. It's dangerous, it violates physical distancing, and it's against the bylaws. So don't do that. And yes, you cannot have a child on the scooter with you, which is a common infraction. The real critical thing that we've been trying to do is to help businesses be ready to make their choice. They don't have to reopen. But for some businesses, that is the right thing to do. And I've heard from a lot that they're saying, you know, that's not actually right for my business. That's okay too. But we have worked with the province and with businesses directly through our Business Sector Support Task Force to give them the tools and guidelines they need to make that decision. Now, I'm sure that restaurants, after what happened last week, probably are not going to order a bunch of food until after they hear tomorrow afternoon. So you may not see a whole bunch of them open on Monday. You may see some opening over the few days after that. You may see some saying, you know what, I'm going to hold back for dine-in services until I see what's happening with some of the bigger chains that are opening. And all of that is okay. And I think that we are ready to go. Exact same thing with hairstylists. The hairstylists have done a really good job on sharing best practices with one another and managing their flows. So I'm hopeful that if that news comes tomorrow, we've done what we can to help businesses be ready.